get out of the water! No, I'm being serious, Wreak. Get out of the water!
Maggots! Maggots! Maggots are falling angry! Maggots! Maggots! Maggots are falling angry! We're going to have some fun with this one. We are talking Maggots, a mega low budget B-movie horror film about, well, killer maggots, as you could probably guess. And I'm going to kind of give you a mashup of properties here that would best describe this movie, and it's going to be something you're never going to expect. This movie is a mashup of Tremors and the Teletubbies. Tremors meets the Teletubbies. It's the best way I can describe this movie. Ultimately, it's about these killer worms that kind of grow in size and have, you know, big kind of fangs at the front, kind of like, you know, Tremors. But the visual effects are the equivalent of a Teletubbies episode. I am not exaggerating. Apparently the budget for this was $100,000, which is low. But even that, you know, that must have gone on catering or something, because, man, this is a low budget movie. But that's not to say it isn't without any merit. So not only does these kind of the visual effects look like an episode of Teletubbies with kind of, people painted onto the sun in that kind of level of effects, basically. But these kind of maggots actually talk to each other in English, but in really high kind of like pitched kind of weird Teletubby voices. And the way they're actually used, again, it's quite amazing. There are practical effects here, but they're kind of like forced perspective, so you'll kind of see just kind of something like in the, you know, in front of the camera across the screen. It's just like a puppet with someone close to the camera and stuff like that. So it's real kind of very, very kind of like guerrilla filmmaking and low budget kind of filmmaking here. And you know, when we get the kind of the death scenes, there's kind of like After Effects blood that's kind of like spurting. I don't even want to say CGI blood, because it's you know, it's not even that. The actual story basically involves, well, it's weird here actually, it has this weird exposition at the beginning of the film, kind of saying it's actually kind of like one of these things that kind of rewrite history, and it gives us this big exposition bomb about how in 1909 or something there was just an invasion, and you know, all this whole big story. But when we get to the movie, it's really just a kind of a contemporary film with a bunch of kind of like campers that they end up meeting these kind of a couple of researchers out in the woods that are kind of looking at meteors and stuff, and that's it really. So was that even needed? I don't think it was, but such a bizarre film, such a low budget film, and here's where I think you might have fun with it. So this is where my little asterisk is going to be. If you like low budget, insane movies, then this may be the one for you. I mean, this film does this weird thing where it has these kind of like the killer scenes, the kind of scenes where these creatures are attacking people. They now have this bizarre music choice with this kind of like weird kind of like poppy kind of like old school songs and stuff in the kind of the scenes where people are getting eaten. So it's a really bizarre film. So it's a proper schlocky, low budget kind of throwback movie, and there is a market for that. There is a market for those, like, you know, so bad, you know, Plan 9 from Outer Space style movies. This is kind of within that kind of era. So if you like those sort of style movies, or if a kind of a Teletubbies Tremors mashup sounds appealing to you, then you may want to check it out. But that is it. Because if you are a kind of just a mainstream, you know, movie fan, you like horror movies, like creature features, just the very low budget nature of this film is not enough to kind of like really attract anyone but this kind of very niche audience into this movie. So for people who really enjoy low budget schlock, you're going to have a laugh with that stuff. You're not going to. There's no deep story here. There's no great, you know, hidden gem. But it's a kind of a fun, weird movie, like The Amazing Bulk. If you've ever watched that, it's kind of like, what the hell am I watching? But for the most people, if you're wanting to watch a story that you can get invested in with characters and, you know, an interesting story and, you know, or good special effects, then this isn't the movie for you. So I have to give this movie just a 3 out of 10 overall, but there's definitely that kind of that niche market that I feel will enjoy this film, who would kind of just want to pop it on, you know, chug back beers and just kind of like, what the hell am I watching, and kind of laugh at that. There is that to this movie. So 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.